Welcome to the Own Your Best Life podcast. I'm May Emson, your host, leadership and mindset coach. Here, we talk all things spiritual, mindset, business, leadership, and wellness for the modern seeker who wants to align their life with purpose and inspiration. We'll cover career changes, stress management, meditation, energy, intuition, and more. Each episode holds spiritual and practical tools to help you live a life of your wildest dreams without getting burnt out along the way. Ready to live a life on your own terms? This is the Own Your Best Life podcast. Welcome, friends, to episode number 14 of the Own Your Best Life podcast. So I'd be lying if I said that I was perfect at this. So what is this, you ask? It's the idea of loving the process and not just the destination. So when was the last time you truly celebrated your achievements? If I asked you how much you actually enjoy the journey, would you say that you really, really love the process? I doubt it. So many of us get stuck on this treadmill trying to get to the next thing when really we're missing life happening right in front of us right now. Today we're talking about how to reconstruct the way you think about your process so that you can have fun along the way and not wait for the arrival for the next big thing before you can take a breath and say, life really is good. So why don't we love the process? Well, we've heard it all before. Life's a journey, not a destination. But why, when we know these things, is it so hard for us to actually believe them? So raise your hand if you're sitting here thinking, oh no, May's got me. I'm actually am waiting for my next promotion, my next raise, life event, revenue goal, or vacation before I really let myself celebrate or take a breath. You're not crazy for feeling this way. You're perfectly normal, and I'll explain why. So when you set a goal, we often focus on the final destination. I will have, insert any achievement, and this is the goal. And we're focused on the outcome because that's what we've been trained to do. We give ourselves incentives to hit the end goal. We structure our bonuses, our rewards based upon the outcome. And there's nothing wrong with this approach. We want people and we want ourselves to be creative so that we can figure out how the heck can we actually make this happen? How do I make this sale, hit this number, create the solution, or prioritize our health, family, all the things. When we focus on the outcome, we create an ability to be nimble and flexible and come up with multiple solutions to hit the end goal. But what trips us up along the way is that we're so laser focused on the thing we want to achieve that we forget that life is happening right here, right now. We think that we need to just never let our guard down, never be satisfied, constantly have hunger for the next big thing in order for us to keep our foot on the gas. So this is an achievement orientation. Again, nothing wrong here. But a side effect of this orientation is that you may start to discount all the effort, time, and the experiences that you are having along the way. And anything that doesn't count towards your goal ends up not mattering. So it's a feeling that you actually want life to fly on by until you get to your destination. Whether that destination is a vacation, a trip, your birthday, promotion, raise, revenue goal, or award, we feel like those moments are the best moments of our lives. So how then do we balance the two? How do we keep ourselves motivated to achieve while also feeling fulfilled in the moment? In this moment I'm talking about is the space between where you are today and where it is you want to go. How do you find satisfaction and not disappointment? And sometimes our goals take a long time to achieve, like a really long time. And sometimes our goals change along the way because life changes. So what then? Are we only going to be living our fullest lives in the peaks of our journey when really the vast majority of our lives are not in those peaks? And then at the end of the day, if you focus just on these peaks, the rest of our lives feel like a list of to-dos to just get us somewhere else, anywhere else except where we are right now. So what is the myth around this, and what do we actually need to bust through? The myth that we need to bust is that your life has to be terrible in order for you to want more. This is the myth around achievement. So I'm personally not as interested in what it takes to improve your life when it's terrible, because that's what makes sense to everyone. We all understand when you have no money, no friends, no safety net, or no freedom, that you have every right to want more from life and to work towards it. We can easily see that each and every step you take to improve brings you great fulfillment and a ton of momentum. But what happens when life is already pretty good and you're still wanting to see how much more amazing it can be? That's when it stops making sense to other people. Why rock the boat? You start feeling like the odd man out because other people are satisfied with the status quo and you're not. And why this is interesting to me is because when you're not getting your juice of encouragement from the outside world and everyone saying, yeah, I believe that that's what you really need to be going after, you have to start to build it internally. And when you do that, we start saying things to ourselves about how bad things are so that we will get ourselves moving in the direction of our dreams and what we really want in life. So essentially, you start to create this narrative that right here, right now, it's terrible, so that we feel justified to seek the next best thing. And this is a pattern that we've seen work in our lives to get us from our first job to our second job, our first relationship to our second relationship, and it's worked. But that type of thinking will give you success, but it won't give you that enduring fulfillment that you're looking for. And I'm more interested in how to continuously expand our capabilities and our abilities while also living our most expansive lives all along the way. So how do we do this? Instead of feeding yourself this narrative that everything is bad and that's what it takes to get to your end goal, and you have to feel that everything sucks and is terrible before you can get into that mode of action, I want you to think about how you can feed yourself this narrative instead. Things are amazing, but why not see what happens if I pursued this goal? We're now focused on a different type of identity. Not someone who is tied to this goal per se, but someone who is tied to the pursuit. The goal is what gets you there, but the pursuit is what you really need to curate as deeply as you curate your goals. And what I'm talking about is having your pursuit and your process be focused instead on this one question. Who is the person I will need to become in order to achieve this goal? And if you can answer this question, who is the person I will need to become in order to achieve this goal? If you can answer this question and be aligned with the desire to truly be that person, then you have yourself a goal that is worthy of your pursuit. This is how you curate your goals and your pursuits. This does not mean that everything you do in your pursuit will feel good and comfortable. But what it does mean is that you can go back to that one question and say, this is part of becoming this person. Everything you do is part of becoming this person. And this challenge that I'm facing right here, right now, is part of my journey to become more and more of the person I came into this world to live into. So what do we really need to love the process then? So now that you've figured out, okay, this pursuit makes sense because I know that I'm completely aligned with the person I need to become in order to achieve this goal. Now you're talking about ways in which you can love the process. So we need a few things. The first one is a reminder of the person you want to become. This is your why. And when I started coaching and blogging, going on social media and podcasting and all the things an entrepreneur does to do the work and manage the work, I was not loving the process. It was a lot of work. And I cannot tell you how many times I said to myself, If only I could just do one thing, one job, it would just be a whole lot easier. If I just stopped this work and only worked my corporate job, my life would be simpler. I'd have so much more free time on my hands. I'd go to sleep at the same time every single night. And this is true, right? Do less and you'll have more time. But what kept me going was a reminder that as difficult and tedious or frustrating as this was at times, I loved how much I was learning and expanding. And I had to look at all the ways that I knew would constantly make me uncomfortable. And that if I looked at all these ways of doing things that were making me uncomfortable, I'd also have to constantly figure out better ways to do things. I'd have to figure out better ways to manage my time. And I'd have to truly focus on the work when it was the time. I'd have to learn how to love the process so that I can sustain it. So all these things that were uncomfortable and felt bad at the time were things that I was willing to go through because the person I was going to become in the process is someone that could manage my time well. That's someone that could manage a full plate well. That's someone that would have to do work sustainably. Does that make sense? I'd have to essentially reinvent myself and become a different person in order to do this well. And that challenge was an exciting one. Who could I be? Who do I want to be? And what if it was as easy as deciding to become that person? So the second thing you need to really love the process is to build in joy. Build in joy, build in fun. There's no worse person to be around at work or in your life than that person who never smiles, never celebrates, laughs, or has any kind of fun. So don't be that person. Yes, life is difficult, and yes, there is a ton of pain and suffering in store for all of us. And yes, we truly do and will feel stuck, we'll feel confused, lost, alone, depressed at times. But we decided when we get to have the prize or the reward for our hard work. And if we made that decision, we can also decide that we want to have fun along the way. So what does that mean? What does that mean for you? What does it mean for me? For me, it meant that I would shorten my time horizon and think of what I actually did that went right that day. Not just, finally I made it there and that's when I did everything right. So fun is not reserved for special occasions. So you're alive. Well, okay, that's a celebration. And as crazy as it sounds, we completely made up the ideas of all these holidays and celebrations and birthday parties, all of these things. And we created these artificial peaks of social gatherings or displays of affection, and we feel the good feelings when we hit that day. But don't you think it's a bit arbitrary? I started thinking about this the other day when I was explaining birthdays to my girls and holidays and how it was just different all over the world. Not everyone did everything the same way. So why not feel good the day before your birthday? Why does your birthday have a feeling to it? And why can't today, this second, this conversation, this moment also feel just as good? I'm listening to a podcast. Hooray! And it's this idea that fun and success are not mutually exclusive. And this is an important one for me because I grew up thinking I had to be serious about everything in order to be successful at everything. But this is no way to live, and it's truly no way to be a whole person as well. You, me, and everyone else wants to be whole. And our wholeness looks like joy and sadness, achievements and failures. A lot of ands and not either or. So realize that you can be not at your goal yet, and you're still okay and maybe even better than okay. You can still be on your way to the achievement and achieving. And it's not the process or the destination, it's the process and the destination. This also comes from knowing that you are worthy of love and good enough as you are without the achievements. And we've talked about this in many of the other podcasts before this. But it's really important to bring it back home here because the reason we tie so much joy and celebration to our achievements is because we think they mean something. And not just mean something, we think it proves our worthiness. It proves that we're good enough. It shows to the world, to everyone else, that we are a good, whole, lovable, wonderful enough person. And when you start to tie all the good feelings to these achievements, to the goals, and these goals are outside of ourselves, that's when we start to go down the path of just grinding and waiting for the special thing, the special day, the special moment before we truly celebrate and before we truly enjoy the process and before we decide that it's okay. And that decision to actually enjoy the process has to be a decision. It has to be a quick one. It has to be an immediate one. And I want you, as you leave today, to realize that you can just decide now. You can decide in this moment that you are not available for waiting to have all the good things at the end of the rainbow. And that right here, right now, you get the whole shebang. You gotta love the process, and you gotta understand who you're gonna become all along the way. And too many times we go through life just getting a goal from someone else or the world around us, and then we realize that we don't like who we've become all along the way. We don't like that we're now this, crazy yelly person that gets angry at everyone around us and has high blood pressure. Or we don't like that we've kind of just conformed or haven't brought out sides of ourselves that we know are out there. Or we don't like that we ignore our family or ignore our friends or don't see anyone around us as much as we want. Or we don't like that we don't spend as much time outside or we don't spend as much time connected to nature. Whatever it is, so much of it is because the person we have to become along the way may not be the person you want to become. So decide right now that if you truly want to enjoy the process, that you have to look closely and deeply at the person you're becoming through this process. And therefore, it's not about the end of the rainbow. It's about every single moment that you are alive and heading with clarity in that direction. Because when you have that kind of clarity of where you're heading, why you want to get there, and who you're becoming, you can start to create so much more meaning to each and every challenge, obstacle, failure, setback, and create the resilience to still figure out a way to move forward. So in summary, I want you to have these fun and these big and these audacious goals, but also remind yourself of who are you becoming in the process, and that all these little micro steps along the way are celebrated and they're unique to you, not anyone else. And that's what matters. You don't have to martyr yourself in order to achieve. And you don't have to add extra suffering and pain in order for you to be serious about growth. You can be both full of joy and determination. And you can definitely focus on the process and the destination. All right. Well, that's it, my friends, for this week. I hope you really enjoyed this podcast. Have a good one, and I'll talk to you soon. So if you liked this episode and you're not already aware, you definitely need to check out my 4-month intuitive leadership coaching program. It's a beautiful 4-month container where we take the one thing that you're focusing on right now and we bring it to life. And we talk about how to lead with intuition, how to be that whole person self that knows who they are, what they stand for, what they want, and how to get there. And we're going to walk through this self-coaching model. We'll meet twice a month, have an amazing virtual retreat, and you get bonus one-on-one sessions with me to get individualized coaching on this topic. This time that you're in right now is a reflection point, a time when we start to decide who do we want to be coming out of this? How do we want to live our lives? How do we get to be even better and grow all along the way? So I'm here for you. If you're interested, go to the website and check out www.mayemson.com/intuitive leadership. It's also in the show notes connected below. Or feel free just to reach out to me. Can't wait to hear from you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye now. Thanks so much for joining us this week on Own Your Best Life. Make sure to subscribe to the show on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts so that you'll never miss a show. And while you're at it, can you please rate and review on iTunes? I would so appreciate it. Share it with a friend, take a screenshot of it, and tag @MayEmson. This helps continue to get the word out. For more show notes and resources, check out www.mayemson.com. You'll have all the links to everything you heard here today. Thanks so much for listening. It's time to own your best life.